This podcast is distributed for general informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to constitute legal, tax, accounting, or investment advice. The information, opinions, and views contained herein are our own and may be subject to change at any time without prior notice. All investment strategies and investment involve risk of loss. Any reference in investment, past, or potential performance is not and should not be construed as a recommendation or as a guarantee of any specific outcome or profit. Hey guys, I'm going to do a video here. We're going to do some of these coins that are running today. Ethereum, DOT. Let's see, I'm in some longs here. Litecoin, not in link. ETH, ADA we know. And I opened up a DOT one this morning. A little bit of a FOMO one, but we'll see how things go. I'm going to start with Ethereum because it's Ethereum. I'm going to do Ethereum on this one over here. We're just going to start all the way from ground zero. Let's see what we got going on here. So, ETH all-time high. Broke and through. Obviously, you can see that there. We'll go down on the lower time frames as we get a little bit closer. Going to want to pull a couple fib levels just to see, because we're, blue sky growth, we're heading up, so we need to see what's some potential stopping points, right? So we're going to do a couple of different fibs so we can see how that plays out. So this is the overall big one from 2018 to the bottom in December 2018. That was our giant one. I am going to, depending on what we see here, I might ignore this one because I know on BTC, the fibs off of the COVID drop really didn't match up to a lot of stuff. So we'll do the same thing with this guy here. Just kind of go back and forth just to see the different levels that we might get. And this we can see a little easier on the weekly. So the reason I got that, top to bottom, let's see, first off, not much confluence on those there. This is a little boring right now. I'm sorry. Should have had this ready before we went in. So this one's going to show us a little bit more. I'm going to get down onto the lower time frames, out of this baby out, so it's not as clustered. And as you can see, we broke out of the 2168, the all-time high, and the next one going off of that 2618 is going to be the 3618 of this one up here. This is a different one. But we can see some confluence of price here, 2400. If we go on to lower time frames and we go this top to bottom, we can see again we got a little bit more confluence here, and then the next step up there, which we really like. The other thing that we did, which is key, and if you're looking to get entries, you might be able to find one off of, sorry, get this right here, from the top, breaking out of this rising wedge. So obviously what we would like to see is a push up higher, retest of the wedge. I mean, it might not. It might just blow right through it. But on lower time frames, we would probably see more of a retest of that as well. That one is the key one. So for me, what I'm looking at is when we looked at below, and I'll put this on the line chart, you can see it a little easier that there is just this rising wedge there straight across. And once it broke through that time frame, you can tell that it just ripped up to that 2168, we're seeing a little bit of hesitation there last night. We kicked up through it this morning, and now we're waiting for this price discovery, blue sky growth, whatever you want to call it. So my first stop that I want to see is I'll probably start taking profits at 23 all the way up to 25 potentially. I don't know how much I'm going to leave on the table. I might close out completely depending on how fast this goes or slow this goes. As this was moving up, I mean, my first longs that I had were I averaged at 1080, I believe, and I closed them out in this range and just waited to see some of the consolidation. I think I had a little long in here, but I just wanted to see if this was going to be a rollover. But once we hit this candle here, we could tell that there was going to be a lot of push through. It was a good spot to potentially get in with the risk versus reward, hitting that all-time high again like we showed. Rising wedge, and it did. It came through. So again, what we're looking to see, well, I would like to see a little bit up, kind of down, and then up into this area here. And ETH can move fast. I mean, it might just rip up this way, consolidate even below this round, and then up and through. But I would imagine we're going to see some sort of, and this might even come down and retest this high, or the 2618, and the all-time high as well, which is highly likely. Which again, all the retest is a place that you can look at getting an entry in for your long if you're not in right now. So this, for me, is going to be the end of the alt season, I'm guessing. I'm not calling it yet, but obviously I am looking to see ETH make this run. We'll have some more distribution into some other alts again down lower, your mid-tier and your low-tier alts. And then that transition back to Bitcoin as it continues to move higher up into, again, its next price discovery. And we know there's a lot of things going on with it right now. So let's look at, I'm going to go with the leverage ones right now. So ADA, we had, it was this bull flag that came through. It was moving up. It had a little bit of congestion in this area here, and I couldn't find any fibs or anything that kind of, because this is price discovery for ADA right now. So, and I couldn't find anything that really showed me this level to really kind of get some hesitation for it. But it did, it stalled out a little bit, not a problem. I was still confident that we were going to go up with it. ADA can move fast. I was expecting something more like the XRP move. But right now you can see we have a fib level drawn from, that's going to push us up into the 49-cent range. If we draw this high to low, it's going to go much higher. We get some confluence up in the 72 cents. Looks really, really nice. This one's going to be just, pretty similar. Yeah, you can see it just, let's push into this. So this consolidation, I might close a little bit out at here at the 49 cents, but I'm going to be shooting for the 72, just above 70 cent range as my take profit target. Now that we've kind of moved through this, ETH is really getting a lot of the play. That's a move of 80% from its all-time high. So whether we get there or not, I don't know. I'm going to be watching this 3618 for some definite slowdown movement, but if we look at the overall that we have here for ADA, it's looking, that's price discovery. And this stuff, it can rip. What we saw, it can go 50, 60, 100% in just a few days. So these are the alt seasons where you can make some good money. I'm not long-term holding these. These are my margin trades. So again, I'm just looking to roll this into more BTC for myself. The other one I'm in is Litecoin. Litecoin has not made a price discovery yet. Even when you had BTC hitting its all-time high, you can see here, this is Litecoin's all-time high, 312. So, you're a double from this point in time right now for it to just get to its all-time high. It's local that we saw just recently. Actually, I'm going to put this on a horizontal all the way across, because you'll see some confluence across the way. You can see this was a top here. It hits it here again. So I would imagine our next stopping point that we're going to see for Litecoin is going to be in the range of 218. And then probably in this range. And I bet you the VPA VR kind of lines up with that as well. You can't really see it too much. There's just such light volume there compared to everywhere else. But there's little outticks on there you can see. But those I would imagine are going to be the next levels that we would see there. So I could probably pull fib levels and it'll line up with the same stuff, but I personally don't like to pull the fibs when I know I can see where the volume has been at before, or the transitions, especially on the weekly. You can see those open-close transitions. There's a lot of price action that goes along there. So I think I have my first take profit around the 170 mark. I'll hold on to some depending on how the flow is going, up to 218 all the way up to 312 for this. Litecoin can lead the charge. And I know it hasn't, beat its all-time high like BTC did. It just shows that there's room for this to really go, for it to get even back to its all-time high. So a lot of times, like I said before, Litecoin can lead the charge with other for BTC. So Litecoin will go first, and then BTC later. So I'm thinking that's what we might be seeing. I'm in some profit with it now, so I'm just going to kind of hold it and see where we go. Everything's kind of bullish right now, which always gets me a little scared. There's so much green. How long is that going to last for? But it's okay. I like it. The last one I put in was DOT. So DOT, I FOMO'd in this morning. I wasn't really watching it. Saw some people talk about it. This was the exact chart I already had, and I said, oh, we're breaking into this. Yeah, I can't really count this candle as a price discovery. This is just like people dumping and then it moving through. So we're kind of in a price discovery here, in my opinion, for DOT. And for me, I haven't even done this yet, so we're going to do this together. Let's find some fib levels. Let's see what we can do. So that's really high. Let's take it down a notch here. Yes, I think DOT. I think it's a lot of people don't like the way they basically presented their coin. It came out the coin distribution that they did, and which is fine. What we see a lot of times is that it doesn't really matter when you come into these bull markets. And a lot of hype behind DOT. There's a lot of projects that go through DOT. So I personally like DOT. I hold DOT as well as leverage trade. I'm only holding it because I got in way down here and I'm getting a 12% APR on it right now through Kraken. So hold it, let it pay you, let it go that route. So if we look at a couple of fib levels here, so there's one last one I want to do from here to here. Might give us some more confluence as well. Well, maybe we'll put this one in here. That one goes really high, really high. Or this one here. It might give us a little bit. So, I don't know. We'll see here. We got this couple right here. We got the 1618 for this larger time frame at 20. 1979 and 20. So this might be and we're stopped at it right now. So let's go down on and this is at the daily. So we go down on the 4 hour. Nice retest. Look at that. That's great. So all-time high basically retest and pushing higher. Got an hour and 26 minutes left in this 4 hour candle. Love to see it close over that if we go 1980 mark. I don't think this 20 is going to do anything for it at all. And I think we move to that next one. But what that shows too is this larger fib level is in play. So when we go to that, the 2618 is at $39. Are we going to get there in a day? Oh, hell no. But when you look at the dailies or the weeklies and we look at this basic trajectory that we might have for DOT, let me just clear this up just a bit so we can see more. So if we like this level here, some confluence there, and then I'm going to take these fibs off once we kind of get that. These will be our first two. Okay, let's just look at those, and then I'm going to take these fibs off so we can see clear. So we know we're sitting at this confluence right now at this current fib level. Just draw a trend line. You know, trend lines are great because you can see, you know, if we're moving in the same direction, or if the trend line breaks down, you know you're going to have some sort of correction. And this works well on the smaller time frames too. I mean, you can look, there was a trend line in this area right here. And then the moment it didn't break this all-time high and continue this way, it broke down, which is great, but then it got caught on this lower trend line. There was a very similar one in here, which I was in this trade, and it broke down. I got out of the trade. I can't remember. Small loss maybe. It was a while back. But the trend line was basically what told you to get out of it. And then it created a new trend line here. It didn't even retest this trend line yet from the lower trend line here. But it can give you a general direction. And so the way I would use it is if this came through here and then broke down on this, we'd see a much larger breakdown of that, and you can run your fib levels to find where that would break down to, a high to low potentially. So where'd that happen here? So let's see here. So if it broke down, say we broke down in here, that was its all-time high, and it came through this way. Well, you can see here that you're probably going to get. This is reversed though. Let's get it back the other way. So your first stop, the 328, if it breaks off of here. I'm not saying this is what's happened. I'm just saying once we get there, it could potentially do that. I'm probably rambling. But that's also close with the 50 and also this all-time high right here at $10 range. That would be a big breakdown, 50% retrace of that high. It could happen. I don't think it does happen. I don't think we see anything like that until we get probably to this 38, maybe this next level up here. But if we extend this out, that's where those fib levels were, and we maintain this level all the way up into here, then we can look at, okay, time to take some profits, and then we could run a fib level off of it wherever we might hit. So if we hit here, then it's time to sell, and then you're looking at your next two and potentially three, depending on how big it goes. And this is in USD, can go that route. But back to where we're looking at. This is our trend. So if we're looking at time frame, this is the end of March if it continues to push up in this general direction. I'd say we do it before then, because once BTC takes over, lots of things will flow with it, but ultimately your BTC will outperform, in my opinion, once it breaks its all-time high again. So it'll be good to be hedged mostly into BTC. That's my play. I'm going to go watch this next couple weeks, maybe a week or two, and see how much longer we can pull out of this alt season. All right. Okay. Let's look at BTC. We've got to look at BTC, right? Honestly, I haven't even looked at it today. 37.18. That's awesome. That is phenomenal. So again, when we go through my last, let's take some of this stuff off here because we don't need this lower time. We can pull these up later if we need those. So I'm going to keep this one because we haven't fully cleared that. There's a potential to come back down in this range. But again, longer time frame trend line, we're over it. We're above it. We're consolidating to it. If we were to break down from it, again, that was the play down here. If we were to break down from it, then we're going to see much lower stuff. It's going to be the same thing if we do it later. Right now, we're sitting in a really good spot. I wouldn't even be scared if we ended up coming back down here to the 32, 33 mark this weekly. After a test of this, all that it's going to do is going to give us a inverse head and shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then you're going to come up to here, and it's off to the races. And that could play out almost perfectly for a super extended. You're talking mid-February alt season, and just a nice run up. So I don't think we do that. There's a lot of bullishness coming in. Michael Saylor holding that symposium or whatever it was they had like 1,400 corporations. These are big corporations. This isn't like Bob's Sandwich Shop. These are giant corporations that have lots and lots of money that they were showing them how to take that money and purchase Bitcoin for part of their cash holdings. So you imagine 1,400 of your larger companies taking 1 to 5%. It's probably more than that, but 1 to 5% and putting it into Bitcoin. There's a big surge of money there. Guggenheim, they were the big players or not players, but they're big promoters in the latter of the end of the year last year, like I think November, December, calling for $400,000 Bitcoin. Bitcoin runs up with all the stuff happening in the beginning of the year to 40K, and they come out and they say, no, we're going to see 20,000, the tops in for the year. The interesting part is they were still waiting to be able to purchase their Bitcoin. So they filed with the SEC, which just came out in the last, I don't know. I think it was the 29th. Let's find it up. Guggenheim. So Guggenheim CEO, and this just came out 8 hours ago. So before this, so they're fudding it, right? So when we see, and they're down here, and this is when it came out, they're saying, oh yeah, Bitcoin, we've seen it roll over. We're going to see it go to 20K. So they're fudding it so they can get a better price. Well, they didn't get They didn't get their 20K. They knew that. They're just trying to keep it lower before they got their buy-in, and they just purchased 400 million, 500 million, I believe, and on the 29th. It just came through. So, and then after that, you can see 8 hours ago what they say, 600,000 it could climb to. So, you gotta be aware of what you're reading into with some of these people and how they talk about the overall scope of the ecosystem, because they're in it, to create a better buy point for themselves. And so what I would want to see here. My ideal scenario with Bitcoin is to play in this range here, potentially come up, test, and then break through in the end of February. So would give us, a couple weeks. Once we break here, if we break up here and test, I'm going to be starting to cut out some of my alts that I have and putting them into BTC for the long-term BTC play. So this is a play I'm watching for sure. So if BTC likes to retake that 38 mark over the weekend, which it likes to move on the weekends, I'll definitely be moving through. My guess is that we see a little bit more of this consolidation for a couple weeks in between the 35 and the 38 mark before we move right through. That's also my ideal scenario. So, all right. That's all I got here. If you got any questions or comments, put them in the put them at the bottom, I guess. I don't know what the kids say these days. Just get a hold of me. I'll answer your questions one way or the other. It'll all work out.